The most powerful weapon ever created doesn't fire bullets. It doesn't leave scars. And most people never realize they're being targeted. When people think of war, they imagine violence, weapons, explosions, armies clashing in open conflict. But the most effective wars don't look like war at all. They look like entertainment, education, information, convenience. They don't destroy cities, they shape minds. And once perception is controlled, resistance becomes unnecessary because people defend the system themselves. Every system of control depends on one thing: belief. Belief in authority, belief in legitimacy, belief in narratives. You don't need force if people believe the system is normal, alternatives are impossible, dissent is dangerous or foolish. Throughout history, empires didn't fall because they were defeated militarily. They fell when people stopped believing in them. So modern power structures learned a critical lesson. Never allow belief itself to be questioned. By the early 20th century, governments began studying something new. Not weapons, but psychology. How suggestion works, how repetition shapes belief, how fear narrows thinking, how authority overrides reason. The conclusion was simple but alarming. Humans are not as rational as they believe. Under the right conditions, people accept contradictions, repeat falsehoods, defend ideas that harm them, not because they are stupid, but because the brain evolved for survival, not truth. Once this was understood, perception became strategic. During major global conflicts, governments realized controlling information mattered more than controlling land morale, mattered more than firepower belief determined outcomes. This led to mass propaganda systems, psychological operations, behavioral research programs, not to convince enemies, but to shape populations. Because the most stable control is self-control. One of the greatest myths of modern society is that more information equals more freedom. In reality, the opposite is often true. When people are flooded with information, attention fragments, context disappears, meaning dissolves, contradictions stop being questioned, outrage replaces understanding, confusion creates apathy, and apathy creates compliance. You don't need to hide the truth. You just need to bury it under noise. Modern societies pride themselves on choice, endless options, endless opinions, endless perspectives. But choice without influence is rare. Most choices are pre-filtered, pre-framed, emotionally primed. When every option leads to the same outcome, freedom becomes theatrical. The appearance of choice becomes more important than choice itself. And people protect the illusion because losing it is terrifying. Fear narrows thinking. Anger accelerates reaction. Belonging overrides logic. These aren't flaws. They are features of human psychology, which makes them predictable. And predictability is exploitable. When emotion dominates, complexity collapses, nuance disappears, opposing views become enemies. This isn't accidental. Division simplifies control. Technology didn't invent influence, it amplified it. Algorithms don't need to understand truth, they only need to understand engagement. And engagement favors outrage, fear, affirmation. Over time, this reshapes perception, not through force, but through feedback loops. People don't just consume narratives, they are trained by them. The most effective control systems don't feel oppressive. They feel normal, comfortable, familiar, unavoidable. People don't resist what they don't recognize, and they don't question what everyone else accepts, which leads to the most powerful form of control: consensus reality. Control doesn't collapse from confrontation, it collapses from awareness. When people recognize emotional manipulation narrative framing false binaries, the spell weakens. Not instantly, but gradually. Because perception once expanded is difficult to shrink again. That's why awareness is discouraged. not banned, ridiculed. Seeing clearly isn't comfortable. It removes certainty. It dissolves easy answers. It isolates, which is why most people unconsciously avoid it. Ignorance isn't just imposed, it's chosen, because clarity demands responsibility, and responsibility is heavy. The greatest conflict of the modern era isn't physical, it's cognitive. Not over territory, but over interpretation. Who decides what's normal, what's possible, what's unthinkable? Because whoever controls perception controls behavior. If you were being influenced, would you know? And if you knew, what would you do differently?